Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean, simply smarter banking.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with the Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
Happy Saturday. Welcome to Sports with Mandela. As usual, we start with a quote. Look for positive in every challenging situation. Morning, Taddy. What's up?
Hey, morning, man. Pretty good. I'm here in the studio with you once more. This is a special occasion for us because we should be live streaming cricket today, but I took off today so they have the girls from Canada here so they can tell us what they're doing and how they're enjoying Antigua. But I'm not too pleased because they're beating us old team too much. I'm not too happy, you know. I mean, they're beating us up too much, but I up there watch a few games and say, look, I have to go home.
Yeah, too much
but the girls are better than our girls. I can see that. Well, especially the team play, you know, passing on the ball. Our girls dribble too long. Hold the ball for too long in my opinion, you know. Being an old basketball player myself, a long time ago in the 70s. But I'm watching them and the team work for the Canadian team. They're pretty good, you know. And you know, I would like the family kind of so even though Auntie and bias, you know, I still have some family kind of watching. Still watching the game, you know. Yeah. Plenty of relatives up there.
Right.
Bandy and that sort of thing. So I send the link so they can see games going on, you know,
right.
That kind of stuff. So we have the coach and a couple of good players in the studio.
Yeah, so make the coach introduce himself.
Yeah, so my name is Fergie Neves. I haven't coached for a couple of years.
Okay.
We have some more qualified coaches than me.
You're just being modest.
Well, I always tell them I'm keeping my record intact, right? But yeah, we have really good people here. I mean, Kevin, Jen, and Rachel, two sisters that coach in Jewel, and Chris as well. Chris Tessier's come back this year along with Kevin. So the good thing about the Auto Group and both these ladies here today are from Ottawa. I think we had 10 or 12 girls come back from last year, so that speaks volumes about the experience, right? So for me now, I'm just a facilitator, right?
Okay.
It's more about them having the best experience possible. They're the biggest promoter of what we do here, right? So they'll go back and tell their friends, and then we'll have more bodies next year. So yeah.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Sarah. I'm a senior in high school, and this is probably my last time that I'm going to be coming back to Antigua with the group. But hopefully hopefully not. But I came on the trip last year, and I absolutely loved it. So there was no question I wanted to come back and play again. Right. In Antigua, I'm playing for Rachel Abella. She's my coach right now. We're going to the finals tonight. And Coach Chris and Coach Jen are both my coaches back home. Along with Sophie. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, okay, so my name's Sophie. I'm also a senior in high school, but this is my first year playing Jewel, and so it's my first year on this trip, and I'm having a great time. Right. And I'm also thinking about coming back and playing Jewel again next year, so I'd love to come back on this trip if it's happening. It's
Sounds good.
so much fun.
And tell me something, how you all started with the Wings, how you connected with Wings?
So it actually goes back to about 2001. I was part of an organization called YBOA, Youth Basketball of America. They're based in Orlando, and that's where I met Lucaso. I met people from all over the world. And he kept bugging me every year. You got to come to Antigua. You got to come to Antigua. And in 2010, I brought my own team up. I was coaching at the time, and had a great experience. And then we started Jewel. Started Jewel in 2010. Allowed it to build for a couple of years, and we started to come back in 2017, 2018, 2019, and then there was this thing called COVID. I don't know if you guys remember that for a couple of years. So we didn't come for a couple of years. We came back last year, and again this year. Now our numbers originally were not huge. They were 18, 20, and right after COVID we had 65 last year, and we've got 65 again this year. So yeah.
Okay.
But my take in this thing, I heard the girls say they enjoying it. The beaches you're enjoying or the basketball? Which one?
Both.
Both of them. Both of them. A little bit of beach in the morning, afternoon, and then basketball at night.
Yeah.
I know Lukey told me last year I went to Shirley Heights Lookout.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
was
did.
so much fun.
So much fun.
We loved it.
I'm
We
pleased,
loved
I'm
it.
pleased to hear that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a legendary place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
When-
so pretty. Yeah, so much fun.
Lots of tours go there on the Sundays in particular.
Yeah, yeah. We went when we got here.
I get a lot of music to steel band if you got early and live
Yeah,
band.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I never enjoyed it if I got there. And the beaches,
So beautiful.
Unbeatable, like so nice. The ocean, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
okay.
Now, sorry, you guys, your big slogan is you have a beach for every day of the year, right? And as we know, this year's a leap year. Did you find one more this year?
We can find five more for you.
Actually, they can find me 10 more.
Yeah.
All you need is one more this year. So, yeah, I
I
mean,
tell you what about that. I was listening to the radio the other day, and there's some kind of issue with a few more beaches on another island called Green Island.
okay.
That's a big island. You can find about. Earl been there with me with my cricket team. We've been there about 6 times, and there are about 8 beaches on that island alone.
Wow.
Yeah, Green Island.
So you have
I
to
just-
change your slogan now.
You have to go there by ferry,
Yeah, yeah.
But tell me something though, in terms of basketball back home in Canada, when you say you coach initially, you were a coach initially.
Yeah.
How was that journey for you as a coach?
You know, I started coaching on the men's side, right? Coaching boys. And I was pretty young. I was 19 when I started, and I was one of the 3 people that started a large organization in Ontario. And I was a young guy, thought I knew it all, you know, crazy, questioning refs. I would get thrown out just about every game. And then as you get older, you mature. And then when I started working on the idea of Jewel, I really needed to remove myself from coaching. Some people ask me, do I miss it? I don't really miss it, right? I got into coaching women in the late 90s because I was really having a hard time coaching the men.
Right.
The men are so athletic, they get away with so much. In my mind at the time, they weren't really working on their game. And I wanted to get back to teaching. And with the women, you teach a lot, right? They're sponges. They absorb,
So-
they work on the fundamentals. They work as hard as the guys, right? And to me, we always say they belong alongside of the guys. It's a different game, but they belong alongside. I also find that the women are a lot more dedicated, right? So I coached both men and women, was really fortunate to coach at a high level.
Right.
Really good athletes that played professionally, played on the national team. And I don't know if it was my coaching, right? But it was just, you know, and the best part is that a lot of these kids are now professional lawyers, doctors, they have their own businesses, right? They're doing stuff that they're happy doing, right? Basketball just helped them sort of get there.
path, right.
And it's the same with the women. So in fact, this year on the women's senior national team, the Canadian team that's going to represent us at the Olympics in Paris, 8 of those players are former Jewel players.
Okay, wow.
Right? Yesterday's game, UConn against Iowa, Aaliyah Edwards played in Jewel, right? So we're proud of those women, but we're also proud of the other women that are now, and we have women that are now coming back to coach the next generation. We have several former players that are now giving back, right? Yeah,
Which is
so
good.
that's what it's about, right?
Right.
So I want to introduce something here. Interject. I mentioned the Canadian national team,
Yeah,
but I sure you must have heard of this guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
yeah, yeah, he's pretty good.
His grandmother and grandfather lived about 2 minutes from the plane where we're playing now.
Okay,
His
yeah,
grandfather lived just next door.
Yeah.
The grandmother down the road.
Yeah.
It was 2 minutes walk. The grandfather about maybe 30 seconds walk from the court you're playing on.
yeah.
I know them pretty well.
Yeah, it's a small world, right? The basketball community really is a small community. I've met so many great people, even this week, right? Like you talk to the parents come down, they're hugely supportive. I mean, without the parents, this trip doesn't work, right? Because we have one parent, Kevin, who's making breakfast every day, right? And then, we have two groups that are over at, well, we have one at Dickinson Bay, one at the Villa, so it's even harder to have two groups, right? And then we have several moms. Juliana's come back this year. Chris will help out. Rod, who is coming down for the first time, he's sort of, we give him tasks, right? And he just does this task. Just give me a task, give me something to do. And it's all about providing the best experience for the kids, right? And beyond that, it's what Wings does for us, right? They absolutely go out of their way. If we need to make a short trip to get something because something was missed, or go out of their way. Even today, we had one bus come down, but all of our girls want to go to this camp, right? They all want to give back, right? So we needed room for 5 more girls. So we had Lucaso went back to the village to pick up the 5 girls because they really wanted to be part of this, right? So it makes my life a lot easier. I do all the organizing beforehand, and some work here, but everybody else takes on the challenges. And the girls are great. The girls are patient. They understand that there's going to be, we tell them when we come to Antigua, there's patience, right? In our world, it's I'm kind of like you. I'm like, okay, I've got to be on schedule. It's got to be on schedule, right? And, here, 15 minutes is really like a half hour or 40. And nobody's doing it on purpose. It's just the culture, right? The way it is, right?
Coach, I have to interrupt you again because I don't know why you said that, not like us, because I'm a stickler for time. I coach for 20-something years, 30 years. I used to bring team to Canada, Toronto, for over 5 consecutive years. But Earl would tell you that my team, if you're late, you might have 20 laps. Can't be late for my session. I don't encourage lateness.
And that's the thing about Jewel too, right? We have really good people that work in Jewel. And think about this, right? We have 26 teams in our league. So we have 13 in Jewel, which is grade 11s and 12s, where both these ladies play. And then we have Jewel Prep, which is 9s and 10s. So there's a natural transition from Prep to Jewel and then off to college or university, right? And we have really good staff, but when we make our schedule, it's 312 games a year over 10 weekends. So next weekend, for example, we always use 4 courts. So next weekend we're going to be in Kingston, where Ottawa is playing in Kingston, and then we're going to be in Windsor, which is sort of almost opposite sides of the province. So we try not to send the teams more than 5 hours. And when you have Ottawa playing Windsor, which are on both ends of the province, they play in a centralized location. So we consider all that, right? We try to save money by letting them drive in. So Ottawa, for example, will drive into Brampton, that is centralized on Saturday, play 2 games later in the day, stay overnight one night to save money, and then play 1 game and then go back. If we had done this on the boys' side and had half the success we've had with women, we'd be getting shoe deals, money thrown at us, right? But that's where everybody's focused on, is on the board. So for us, we have to fend for ourselves. My joke is, until one of these young ladies becomes a CEO of a large corporation and says, I remember Jewel, I'm going to give them some money. But, to us, it's a good fight, right? It's a good fight. And we're so proud of what a lot of these girls accomplish, right? Another thing, too, this weekend is, besides Sarah, I think we have another 4 or 5 girls that are already committed to universities next year and colleges, right? Sarah's going to Carleton, which, by the way, is back-to-back national champions. And they're talking to me now about the possibility of coming to Antigua over Christmas to train. So think about that. The best women's team in Canada are like, could we maybe do something in Antigua and work some camps and so we're having those discussions, right? And I think Antigua now, where we are within Jewel, is the place to go. So I've spoke to one of our teams in Halton, which is just outside of Toronto. They're saying they're going to put the money for Antigua into their team budget so they can bring the team down next year. So it's going to be a problem, but it's a good problem, right? So we're excited, right?
In terms of you, Sandra, how are you getting into basketball?
How did I get into basketball? Well, I actually was a competitive sprint canoer for a really long time in Canada. And when I was about 11, my mom put me in basketball. I wanted to try out for basketball. And I fell in love with it. I've been playing ever since. I played for like a small little organization in Ottawa. That's where I'm from. And then my grade 9 year of high school, it was COVID, so not much was running, but Chris Tessier, one of the coaches down here, was running some clinics. So I started running with him, and then grade 10, Jewel was running again because COVID was kind of in the past, and then so I played grade 10, grade 11, and now grade 12 for what was Ottawa Elite and now is Capital.
What position?
Capital
What
Jewel.
position you play?
I'm guard mostly. We have a few of our bigs got hurt this year, so I kind of slowly transitioned into a post. But yeah, mostly a guard.
How good you say you are?
How good am I?
I should ask Coach that.
Well, she's good enough to get a university to come after her, so she's good.
She's good.
She's good. Yeah.
And Sarah, how you started Sarah? Is Sarah, right?
Sophie.
I'm
Sophie.
Sophie,
My
yes.
bad, sorry.
So I was actually a competitive gymnast for up until my grade 7 year.
Gymnast? Wow.
Yeah, I used to train 20 hours a week, but I didn't like it anymore. So my mom actually was a point guard at Ottawa U for basketball, so she got me into it once I dropped out of gymnastics because she didn't want me to stop playing sports. And then I started it up. I played house league in 8th grade, and then COVID hit, so I did a bunch of personal training with one of my friends. And then in grade 10 was my first year playing competitive, so I played for another association that was like a little bit of a lower level because I was just getting into it. Last year I played a little bit of a higher level, and then this year I made the Jewel team. So
You made the Jewel team?
I did.
Wait.
For
I want to find
Ottawa.
out something. Is it competitive to get onto the Jewel team?
Yes, it's competitive, definitely.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, there's tryouts.
Yeah.
I mean, this summer we had 5 girls from Antigua come up to Canada,
Right.
and they came in August, and we took them to 5 different team tryouts so they can see what it was
different
like.
level, right.
And the tryouts I took them to, the teams had almost 50 girls trying out for 12 spots.
Wow.
So it depends on where you are. Like if you're in the greater Toronto area, there's more volume, right? There's 5 million people in that area, right? Ottawa's fairly well populated, so they have quite a few kids come out. Kingston is more challenging because they have less of a population, but they have teams there. Your Windsors are pretty good. London has really got a good population. So usually at tryouts now, kids want to compete. They want to play at the highest level, right? We actually have a team this year from Thunder Bay. So Thunder Bay in Ontario is a 14-hour drive to Toronto. So they fly in every weekend to compete. So think about that. They fly in on Friday, play 2 games on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and fly out. That's a huge commitment for these kids to make. But we're excited because we're a provincial league, right? We want kids in the whole province to have opportunities, right? We were actually talking about, do we expand into other provinces? And I was talking to somebody a couple of days, and they're like, maybe we go Jewel Antigua, right? So you're always thinking about, it's about, you've got a brand, it's a brand that's been around for 13 years. In our mind, it's a good brand. There are other leagues that are competing leagues. They offer different things. We're always happy that the kids are in our league. We want the best kids in our league. But we also, if a kid chooses to be in another league, we're going to wish them the best, right? It's about them having opportunities, right?
In terms of the service, though, because the service in Antigua here is totally different back home.
Yeah, like in the service, what do you mean by service?
The surface.
Oh, the surface,
The
yeah.
surface.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have wood floors,
Right.
right? It's spring, like our big girl that came down this year, Jessica, after the first game, her back was a little tender because you're playing on concrete. There isn't as much.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you can build an indoor facility, first of all, it's got to be climate controlled with wood floors. I mean, even like I hear when you guys play international games, there's regulations for FIBA, and you're playing them in the States, right? You're playing them in New York. Is that where you're? So it would be great if you could build a facility that could facilitate those games. It's almost like if you build it, the people will come, right?
True.
So now you've got an indoor facility, proper surface. I think it's a good way to go, but it costs money, right? So yeah, I mean, it's about finding the money, right? So if you can find, then you got to maintain it and work through it, yeah.
And in terms of your mom, what position your mom used to play in basketball?
My mom was the same position as me. She played point guard. So she.
So now you're teasing her and saying, Mom, I'm better than you? Are you doing that?
She likes to think she's better than me. She definitely was, but I'm gonna work my way up there.
Okay. And so far, how you like the transition in terms of from gymnastic to basketball?
I love the fact that it's a team sport because when I was doing individual, it was a lot. I don't know. It was very different, and I liked being part of a team and encouraging your teammates because you're all part of something and it's not just about yourself. I like that part of it.
You like you want to tell me something else? You can say, you like you want to say something
No, I agree with Sophie. I played the individual sport as well, and the team sport's just so fun. Like the team culture and winning together, losing together. Like it just makes it so enjoyable.
So it's a fun way, I mean, because knowing how we operate around here, if you lose, you might find somebody to blame.
No.
But in terms of what coach said a while ago, now you're going after college and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to that experience?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a huge jump. Like the game is going to get a lot more competitive, but I think Jewel honestly prepares you pretty well for it. Like you play a ton of teams, like, you know, the travel's there, team culture, the competitiveness is there. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a huge jump from high school to university.
So now, as we speak, you're mentally prepared, physically, and
yeah.
ready for that challenge.
So I got to do a ton of training over the summer.
Are you gonna make coach? You're gonna make coach proud.
No, it's too far. Yeah, well, we're,
And your coach is and Jewel.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one nice thing about it, as he said earlier, is that we have guys already who went to the college level, who knows lawyers, CEOs, stuff like that. So it's not only an opportunity for sports, it's an opportunity also in a professional setup.
Yeah, I totally think so. I think honestly, like the organization Jewel itself, like makes you a better basketball player, but it totally makes you like a better person as well. Like it harps on your work ethic, it harps on your collaboration, your leadership, which are all qualities you need outside of basketball as well.
And that's so true.
And what I'm thinking too, I think Carleton would be a good university. Carleton is a good college, ain't it? Academically. Carleton.
Oh yeah. Like you need a ton of work ethic for that as well. So preparing you just for the next steps in life. Totally. Yeah.
In terms of you, over the years, and see those girls, it must bring a warm feeling to your heart, and a proud moment for you. In part.
But you know, even this weekend, right? So I see myself as the old guy that gets to hang out with these girls and gets to know them on a personal level, right? We every year we do an orientation where we go and meet all of our players and we do headshots and, for our recruiting guide and that kind of stuff. And I get to meet the kids and their parents there. So I like to do it. I enjoy doing it, right? But when you come to Antigua and you see these people, you know, really it's competition, but it's all the other stuff on a personal level. A lot of these kids are really shy, kids that you don't know. You really get to see what they're really like, right? And they're really cool kids. Like they've got so much to offer, right? So for me, it's about, you know, being associated with them. You know, and if one of these girls ever becomes a police officer one day and I had a speeding ticket somewhere, maybe I'll get off, right?
I'll probably say, I don't remember you.
Right. You're like, I don't remember you. Or, you know, if they're a lawyer and I need a lawyer or a doctor, right? So, but it's great to see these kids. We banter a lot. We have a lot of fun. You want to be surrounded by good people who clearly understand, look, you know, you can take a different path, right? You can take a path here that's a bad path or a good path and make yourself better. Use your energy for positive things, right? And I've always said, take from the game. But when you're in a position to give back, you may want to give back. You don't have to, but it's a good thing to give back. Like even today, we're running the camp. Sarah's taking the lead. You know, all the other girls are sort of following. You know, we asked for 5 to 15 girls to come to the camp. The bus is full. Everybody wants to come. And it's a hot day. And they're playing 2 big games tonight, right? People might think that the Canadians, they're just going to play for fun. No. When these girls get on the court today, they're playing to win. So if people want to see really good, like yesterday's games were really good games, right? You're going to see some really good games today. If you want to see some good basketball and see what it's like, especially for kids that maybe are starting to get into the sport, it'll give them an idea of where I need to be when I'm at their age, right? So if you don't see it live, it might be hard for you to sort of understand what it's like, right? So I encourage people to come out. I think the atmosphere has been great. Loud music, our ears are blaring every time we go home at night. They do a really good job. But our kids yesterday, you could tell, they're competing, and they're going to compete today.
I like where you went there just now, you know, because I'm thinking the same thing like me. My daughter went to New York a few years ago to go back to university. And she called me one day and said, "Hey, Dad, I met this man and this and he's a lawyer, he's one of the doctor. And when I heard that she was my daughter, they say, "Oh, your dad was tough for me as coach. Was a good man."
Yeah.
But they remember the things you do.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
guys, they
Absolutely.
look out for your children and your friends. Because hey, you've been there, and you want to give back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
For sure.
In terms of, as the coach said, the noise doesn't nice. It's a distraction for you guys when you guys up there on the court and stuff like that.
I think it kind of amplifies the energy. I like it.
Also,
Yeah,
it's a nice
I
vibes.
think it's fun. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's
There's
yeah.
some sound effects, and sometimes when your friends grab the mic, they'll
Right.
make fun of you a little bit.
Okay,
It's funny. It's fun.
Yeah.
This guy is this one day. See, I wanted to put a camera in the crowd, so back home your family could see your mother, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't come.
Oh, he's shy.
No, you're not shy. You're just too busy.
Oh, in terms of the game itself tonight,
Yeah.
it's like be like a grudge match. It'd be like it'd be like how y'all review.
Well, I haven't been paying a lot of attention with the teams, but I will tell you this. I think that we have 3 sisters playing against 3 sisters tonight.
I think so.
So, or 2 coaches. So
Right.
Jen and Rachel are sisters, the 2
Right, right,
coaches.
right.
Veronica and Sarah
Yeah,
are
my little
sisters.
sister.
Okay.
And then Anna and her younger sister Bella.
Right.
So, so there's something there, right?
Right,
And it's about
correct.
pride at home too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the other players are great players that have been playing really well.
Right.
Because when we come down here, we just sort of put kids into teams. We don't have specific teams.
Okay,
So
okay.
you've got London girls going against London girls, and Ottawa girls going against Ottawa girls, and St. Lawrence against St. Lawrence,
Yeah.
Niagara. So then when they go back home, now they've got bragging rights, right? Yeah.
And that's a good thing, though. That's
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Make it
Yeah.
feed more energy and stuff like that.
You know, I'll tell you what I notice every year, because I try to look for different things. You know, a couple of days in, the girls don't really know each other's really well.
Right.
But as you get into Wednesday, they're all supporting each other. And then these girls last year in particular became such good friends after the tournament. So you got
Yeah.
you got Ottawa and Tri-County, which is 5.5 hours
Yeah.
away. When they go into the next weekends and the rest of the season, they're all hugging each other, high-fiving
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
But when they get on the court, it's time to compete. But it's about building friendships for life, right? So this is part of that process, right? It wouldn't have happened as easily in Jewel, right? In Jewel competition.
Right.
But when you're in Antigua, smaller group, you're in a smaller island, you see them every day,
Yep.
you get to know them. That's really important stuff. Yeah.
But let me find out something for you, because I've been to Niagara quite a few times, but Niagara is so close to Buffalo. Is it possible for you to get a team from Buffalo?
In Buffalo, absolutely. Well, we're open to that. Now, the Americans are very different, right? You know, America, they're very competitive, right? And sometimes people take that as arrogance. I see them as competitive, right? You know, the thing about the Americans is a lot of people don't like them until you need them, right? So I think you need to keep them close, right? And a lot of our teams go down to the U.S. Like next weekend is a live period for the NCAA, so a lot of our teams will go down there and play in U.S. competition to get exposure to U.S. schools, right? So we're not just about Canada, although our relationships with Canadian universities and colleges is so valuable to us. This is why we play or try to play a lot of our games on their floors. It's a huge tool, right? So when we're playing at Carleton, you know, the kid is seeing what it's like, or at the University of Windsor or wherever. That's a huge recruiting tool for that school. So this year is our second year at the Brock University, which is in Niagara Falls. You guys have all heard of Niagara Falls,
Yeah.
across the border from
Yeah,
Buffalo.
we're going Buffalo. Yeah.
And the university's bid to host us for 2 years. So this is the second year. We already have 5 potential bids. University coaches have already reached out to us, say, hey, we want to put in a bid to host you guys. That's how valuable it is, because they want these kids in their backyard, right? So, yeah, but Buffalo, I mean, I enjoy going to U.S. I went more for shopping, right? The malls. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool to see different competition. And believe it or not, many of our teams can compete against the American teams. They have a huge population base. They're 10 times our population. But you want that competition. You want strong competition. That's how you're going to improve, right? So
That's why I know where you're at.
right. And in the summer, a lot of our kids play on summer travel teams. We leave them alone for the summer because we don't want to burn them out either, right? That's the other thing. And we actually made a rule change this year that if you play in Jewel, you only play in Jewel from December to June, because we had girls playing on 3 and 4 teams. They're playing 100 games a year.
Wow.
they're specializing, which means that they're only playing one sport using the same muscle groups, which is leading to burnout and injury. So we made the decision. It was positive for the most part. Some people were not happy because they want their kids to continue playing.
Yeah,
I think these girls, no, they're okay. I think, they get to play 30 games a year in Jewel.
Yeah.
That's spread out over 6 months. You allow your body to rest, right? Because your body's your tool, right? So, but then we monitor, is this working, is it not working? Do we need to make changes? But we decided to protect our kids, right? That was our decision to make.
And that's good. And that's critical.
And looking at Sophie, she like Sophie needs some muscles.
Sophie's jacked.
Yeah, yeah.
Sophie's jacked. Sophie's
Just
jacked.
don't see it.
But I will tell you, Sophie may be the quickest player here.
Oh, she's lightning. She's
Well, I
so
kind of
quick.
figure because from a gymnastic background, that's taking a lot of skills and stuff like that, and fitness level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I figured that she was up to par.
Yeah, yeah.
When you try about gymnastics, I think she should be up
She's
to
up to par. all right.
Well, in terms of the American skill set in basketball compared to the Canadian skill set, would you see any differences in terms of how you guys play compared to the Americans?
Well, we've gone, it's funny, I guess the only place in the world right now that doesn't play FIBA is America. Right, United States of America. It used to be Ontario and the United States of America, but Ontario's gone FIBA. FIBA is a different game. It's a different strategy, right? And really for us, we're preparing our kids for the next level and eventually for FIBA because we want our kids to represent our country.
Right.
That's our focus, right? Where I would imagine in America, it's more about preparing them for, playing NCAA, playing NBA, playing WNBA. So it's a different game. Like I said, their population base is 10 times our population base, so they have more to draw from, but they also have more teams. So their top teams are really good. Our top teams are really good. But where they may have 100 teams, we maybe have 10 teams, right? It's sort of like when we come to Antigua, your population base is 95,000. There aren't as many people, right? And in discussions with some of the parents and coaches this week, we're talking about how do we help the women's side of Antigua grow, because there just aren't the bodies there, right? The interest there. So I think personally, I think we need to start from within, as opposed to having the girls come to Canada right away to have 4 or 5 girls see what it's like. Let's have the development here happen, get them ready to compete as teams, and then bring them to Canada and then back and forth. That's the hope. But ideally every young lady in Antigua wants to play basketball. That's the thing, right? These girls and the local girls are motivating them because these women are looking up to other women, right? So it's about that youth saying, hey, I want to play basketball, and then getting started. But once you get going, you cannot have a gap. You have to continue going and build on that, right? That's our hope, right? But if it was easy, anybody could do it, right?
True.
And it's going to be a challenge, but we're willing to put the time in.
You're up to the challenge because
absolutely.
you're doing a fantastic job so far.
Absolutely.
From hearing what you're saying and the energy and passion you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing would make us happier than if today the championship game was with a local team against one of our teams.
Well, that was I was hoping for, but every year you keep beating us up.
Well, yeah, I mean, but we're our hope is that, like, I see improvements, right? But they're very gradual, right? They're very gradual. We're hoping that maybe this is the year that something clicks, and now we have people saying, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, this is what my daughter can do, right? The guys will take care of themselves, right? The guys are okay. They don't need our help. But let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes.
I'm seeing something to coach, because I remember Sandra said something to Sophie. Our girls don't start at that early age. That's part of our problem. I work in the school system with Loki, so I know about it.
Yeah.
We need to get in the primary school here,
Yeah.
which is before we get to the secondary, but like before we get to high school. We can start girls like 7 years old, 8 years old when in primary school.
Yeah.
But then you get to the time to get to high school, we call secondary school here.
Yeah.
They have the basics, fundamentals established. But I don't think maybe we have enough coaches here.
Yeah, part of it is coaching. Now, I will tell you, I think you have good coaches. Coaches, right? But the other part, we have also girls that have only been playing for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But here's the difference. You have players like Sarah and Sophie that when that player comes in and they're learning, they're going to take them aside under their wings and just do it naturally and say, this is how we do things. This is how you need to do. So the pressure isn't on all of the coaches. It's funny, like I tell people all the time when you know, as I got older in coaching, I was more like Bobby Knight. I would just show up to coach. I would give all the assignments and all the hard work to my assistants. This is what I need you to do. I'm too old to be doing this stuff. And if you have really good young, like if you have a good coach at the younger age groups, that's a strong development coach. That is so key. Your best coaches are not your coaches that have the best players. You know what those coaches are? They're good game managers. They're dealing with personalities. They're running systems. That's all they're doing. The NBA coaches, WNBA coaches, they're probably some of the worst development coaches because they're so removed from it, right? So it's about getting people, teaching these kids fundamentals. We decided to run a camp March break. So our March break is kind of like your Easter break. Our girls are off for an entire week. This year we said, let's run a Jewel March break camp. And I was there with a couple of coaches, former players. And we put the camp together because our coaches work on team concepts, team strategies. They don't have a lot of time to work on individual development, right? So we come in and we tweak some things. And I will tell you, that camp was exhausting. I was there for a week. I'm like, I'm too old for this stuff, right? But the kids are so highly motivated. You know, they come in, they learn one thing. That's all. One thing in a week. That's all we say. If you learn one thing. But then again, it's about teaching the next generation. And why not utilize the players, right? You know, kids in life, in general, try to take shortcuts in everything they do.
That's true.
Except for sports. Have you noticed that?
Right.
Sometimes they do everything the hard way when it comes to sports. And it's about teaching them, let's do it the easy way. You know, save your energy, right? You're over dribbling. Yeah, simplify your dribbling, right? Dribble with a purpose, for example. So little things like that. But the key is get strong development coaches, take these girls at 6, 7, maybe later, teach them, because once they have the individual tools and you put your teams together, you'd be surprised how well the teams come together.
Well, in terms of our local girls, anyone can answer. In terms of our fundamentals with local girls, skill set and stuff, how you all would assess that?
Ladies, you played against them.
I think a few of them have like really good individual skills. Like a couple girls are really shifty, really hard to guard for sure. And just like
be honest, no, don't.
What I think we just have a little bit of it is like transition, just the pace of playing, and kind of court awareness is where like we've been playing for years, and
and just
it's kind of been forced.
Overall, I feel like we also have more experience playing against like competitive teams. Like we're probably the most competitive teams that these girls have been playing against. So they haven't seen that level of competition yet. So it's their first time, and they're not like used to that.
But I also like even compared to last year, I think the scores were a little bit closer. Like I've seen a little bit of improvement.
Okay. What you see, our girls, you find them being timid, or you find them being more aggressive and stuff.
Some of them are really aggressive.
No, they're really
aggressive. They're good. I like the hustle. They're good.
They were definitely
really
working
athletic.
hard. They were working hard.
Okay. In terms of your
well, what I think has happened. Somebody said today that these girls that we're playing against may play 10 games all year.
Yeah.
So our girls are playing, 30 games, plus all. So, you can train, and training is important, but you can only do so much training. At some point, it's like a job, right? Like you can study to do a certain job, but until you physically do that job, on-the-job training is important, right? So the games matter. It's about that too, because you don't have the volumes of teams. We're at 2 this year. We've had discussions about maybe going to 1 all-star team from Antigua. Other people are saying, no, let's try to help grow the areas, because you guys have a lot of school teams. Could we maybe help start there? Because that's where we are. Our girls still play high school. We stay away from high school basketball, because that's important, right? For them to be with their non-basketball friends, associated with their schools. It's really important. So you guys have that too. You have high schools, you have high school competition. So maybe now it's about maybe developing the individual high schools, and then taking the best players from certain regions, and then you take the best kids from Antigua. Maybe now you have 2, 3, 4 teams, right? And maybe you have a couple of rough years, but you tough it out, get them at a young age, and then help them grow and develop, right? That might be an answer, right?
There was a guy there who was on the commentary team Thursday night, called Bowling Night.
Okay.
He's the guy in charge of the school's basketball here. So maybe you should get in touch with him. I believe he's going to be there tonight, because he wasn't there last week. He's Adventist. Yeah. But he's the one who's a coordinator of school's basketball, girls and males and females.
Absolutely. Like we don't have all the answers, right? And I tend to ask a lot of questions because I don't, all we can do is make suggestions. Like this, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And we also want to learn from the local people, right? We're not just bringing what we know into here. We're open to having that dialogue. You have to be, right? Again, like if we can play a small role in Antigua women's basketball, that's something we can be proud of too, right? It's funny, when we started Jewel, the first 5 years of Jewel, the same university in Canada won 5 national championships in a row, University of Windsor. Wow. So I always tell the head coach, that was because of Jewel, right? and it probably wasn't, right? But it's more about our girls as well. Like, maybe when, Sarah's now gone through school, played at a high level, maybe played pro for a couple of years, and then now is going into the real world and has a job, starting a family, and she hears about, the Jillian Brazier and the championship team that year was an Antigua team. Right. She can be proud of I was part of that process, right? So we're always open to having any discussions with anybody because we also want to learn from them. Like, what do you do here that maybe we can take back and do back home, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And for you, you were here last year and this year. When you compare last year to this year, how you view it?
I think it's been pretty similar in terms of the Antiguan teams, though. I think there was a little bit of improvement I've definitely observed, just even playing against them. Like, the girls are really aggressive. There's a ton of hustle. Like, it's been super fun. Yeah. This year's a little bit hotter, too. So, a little less of a breeze. So.
In terms of the girls from Jewel that come down this second to last year, how are you playing?
Yeah, a bunch of my friends still came down. A bunch of girls came down again, but a lot of my team was new this year, and a lot of my Ottawa team came down. I think they're all enjoying it. We're having a blast.
Yeah, so much fun.
And then a lot of the London girls are living pretty close to us, so we made a few friendships there. Yeah, it's been fun. Okay. Yeah.
And the gym is your first time in Antigua. And stuff. How is it for you though?
I love it. I mean, I feel like it's a great experience, and I'm loving that I'm getting to know my team even on a closer level. I feel like there's only so much you can do at practice every day to get close with people because it's a different environment. Just like living in the same environment as your teammates, getting to know them better, and just being around them and getting to know their personalities and stuff like that is really, really cool.
And in terms of,
what she says was very important to me. When you travel as a team, and for the first time you get to know somebody, you live with them. It's different than
totally.
You make friends for life.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been through it, so I know it.
Yeah.
You make friends for life after that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which team you're playing against, which team, you're still friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
In terms of on-the-court experience now for you, how is it like playing on the surface?
On the surface, I feel like it's not that different. Like, I've definitely played on different surfaces before. The wood floors are probably a little bit better, but it's still fun. It just hurts a little bit when you fall on your knees. I've got a couple bruises on my knees from falling, but other than that, it's great.
Okay. And when you left home, come down on this trip, did you set yourself goals and stuff like that? Any goals?
Kind of just like have a good time.
Have a good time.
Maybe win another.
I want to find something. So you did set a goal that you want to be the champion?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously we want to win. You always want to win.
And not get super sunburned.
That was another goal.
Okay. And in terms of Jewel, when you come to these tours, you set goals and stuff, what you want like to achieve, or what you like to accomplish, or what you like to see?
I want everybody who comes to have the best time of their lives, right? And Lucaso's built the same way, right? He goes out of his way for us, his people, Valencia, everybody who's involved with the organization, Denise, Tracy, I mean, they're phenomenal. We just want people to have the best experience, right? And it doesn't always go perfect, right? There's some little hiccups here and there. You work through them, right? Even in the games, sometimes kids don't play as much as other kids. We understand that, right? But it's about having the best experience you can. Because really, we're ambassadors, right? We're representing Canada, and it's just about let's have as much fun, have smiles on these, and have them go back and tell all their friends how great it was. That's all that matters to me, and that's similar to what we do in Jewel. We want it to be the best experience for these kids. Wish them the best, help them go along. Just put something in place, a platform where they can sort of continue to grow. Right.
I want to put a coach on the spot. Have you been getting enough playing time?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
feel like we have.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, it gets sweaty out there.
It's hot. It's
Okay,
hot.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's like you find yourself sucking more energy here than back home.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
of
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's honestly just the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing outside. Yeah,
Right.
it gets pretty warm. Not anything we're used to, but
Okay.
it's fun. Yeah.
And like what you said a while about ambassadors, because my former coach, when we travel a lot, he always tell us we are ambassadors.
Yeah.
So whatever you do out there, it's not about Earl, it's about Antigua.
Absolutely.
So whatever you do, make sure you represent Antigua.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is so true. So these
Yeah.
young ladies,
100%.
they
Yeah.
are ambassadors.
Yeah, we have that discussion every year when we come in. You know, and we know the kids and parents are excited. You know, their goals was really to get as much beach time as possible. The basketball was down the line, but we talk about a kid may only come for a year or two and then they're gone, and if they misbehave or if they do something that doesn't look good, even though people say, hey, it's no big deal, I get it, they're kids, that stuff bothers me, right? Because you're representing the entire group, right?
Correct.
So it's about all of us, right? It's like anything else. And we don't want local people to be upset, if something gets done on purpose, right? Or, that's not what we're about, right? And for the most part, we're good. Like the kids are great, they're good, we try to stay on them, but we give them some freedoms, right? So yeah, funny story, yesterday we did the island tour and a bunch of the girls said, hey, we've got some homework to do to get ready to school. So we said, okay, you guys can stay back and do some homework. And then we did the island tour, small group went, and it was really good. And we're driving back to the hotel, and all the girls are coming back from the beach, right?
Let's see one and a half homework.
So I think they did their homework on the beach. So that's what it was. But you can only sit in a room for so long to do stuff, right? It really, I think some of them are going to be doing homework on the plane on the way back. But that's the thing, they do their homework, right? They still work at it. That's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
I think I heard on the network the other night. So one of the girls, I think the girl was saying that y'all went in a circumnavigation on the island and on the water.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I heard that y'all having a great time.
Yeah.
Well, for us, Sunday is prickly pear.
Right.
That's the party, right?
Okay,
That you
okay.
gotta
Right.
you gotta go to. And then this year on Monday we did we did Shirley Heights and then prickly pear on Monday.
Okay.
Prickly pear is phenomenal, right? So you get the island to yourself. It's a lot of fun. And then Thursday we did the catamaran tour. Is it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday.
Thursday.
And they liked the catamaran tour. So it's funny because last year we rated, like after the end of the event, we say, hey, how was the experience? What did you like? What could we change? Because, even food and water and, you're trying to get everybody sort of on board. They rated Prickly Pear number 1,
Okay.
the Catamaran number 2, and then Shirley Heights number 3. So I'm interested to see where it goes this year. We had to pay for our alcohol this year at Prickly Pear, so maybe it'll drop down a little bit. That's for the parents. That's for the parents, right?
I know.
Yeah, so they're part of the rating system.
Right.
But those are the big ones for us. I mean, we got to, on the island tour, we got to go back to Shirley Heights during the day, which was amazing. We did Nelson Dockyard, which is a really cool place to go visit. And we did Devil's Bridge, right? And, we're always careful when we're at Devil's Bridge because people don't always make the best decisions. But it's all part of the experience. And then now we're trying to slowly get some downtime, right? Because the week flies and you got to go home to get a vacation from your vacation because you're worn out, right? But they're long, hard days, right?
Well, that's good. And what I like about this tour, as you alluded to earlier, in terms of the teamwork and stuff, like this guy who just came on, and you just say, what next to do, what next to do? So you can see the team there among not only the girls on the court, but also people that in the organization. The teamwork is so superb.
Absolutely. And I was so like last year was really hard year because we went from 23 people 3 years ago to 65. And the parents were good last year as well, but they also didn't know the island, didn't know what we were doing. This year you have 3 or 4 parents come back, they know, and they're telling me before we leave, hey, I'll take care of this, I'll take care of that. You don't have to worry about this or that, right? And our parents are like, we can go and get this on our own. And I'm like, No, you don't. If I tell Lucasso you're going on your own, he's going to be upset, right? Because they want it. They always go out of their way for us, right? So it's easier when you have people returning because they know what's going on. And I find for me, it's a little bit more relaxing this year because these parents are taking this on, which is fantastic.
Well, no, you're Antiguan also. That's why.
Well, it's 7 times. So when do I get my full citizenship? I'm in. I do have a first choice rewards card, just so you know. So, but I haven't used it yet.
You have to make one more trip to be Antigua.
One more?
Then
I'm in.
8 years.
Then I'm in. Okay. I'll be back. Definitely. Yes.
But tell me, in terms of you, I know this is the last year.
Yeah.
Well, not
Not last, maybe
the
come back.
last and stuff. So you
Yeah.
want to go out on a bang. You want to make sure you leave a mark and stuff. How are you preparing to do that?
Like on the island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your teammates and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just kind of want to have like the best time. I mean, like last full day here, I guess is today, which is a little bittersweet. But we're gonna go back, maybe hit the beach really quick before our games,
Right.
and just kind of soak it all in. I mean, maybe we'll be back with Carlton. That'd be awesome. Fingers crossed for that one. But yeah, just kind of like soak it all in. Just like every aspect of it, it's so pretty. So.
And in terms of college, going up to college, is
Yeah.
this semester, next semester you started?
Yeah, so I finish in June, and then we have the summer off, and then we both start university in September.
And what you majoring in?
Neuroscience right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's only out of the doctor coming up.
Yeah. And in terms of you in college and
Yeah, next year I'm going to a political science and law program.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sounds good. And you guys are ready and eager for that challenge?
Yeah, I think so. I'm excited for this summer off a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Done with school.
Yeah.
Just can maybe focus on basketball a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited for school next year. Yeah.
And the beauty about playing sports, got close, as a coach said earlier, sports is discipline.
Yeah.
And discipline for life.
Totally,
and
yeah.
school and stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
I mean, balancing school and sports even right now is a little difficult. Like, we were doing our homework on drives back from Toronto or on plane rides back, I guess, tomorrow. But balancing the school and sport, like, automatically makes you a more disciplined person. You can, time management.
Right.
And
So
it'll definitely help for
in university.
in the
Yeah.
university and in years to come.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
sounds good.
Yeah.
And you must be absolutely proud of these young
Oh, we got a doctor and a lawyer. What else can we ask for, right? So, we're wishing them luck, right? I mean, and it's not just that. I mean, there are people that, they don't have to be, doctors, lawyers, or as long as they're doing something that they're happy, right? I was always taught that you choose a job, but, or you hold a job, but you choose a career, right? So if you get to choose, and there's the old saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, right? So they've got pretty high pressure jobs that they want to get into, but again, that's part of the giving back, right? So yeah, I mean, all of our kids, it doesn't matter as long as they're happy doing what they do. And when they look back at the Jewel experience, it was a positive experience for them. I mean, not all of them are going to have a positive experience, but if the majority have it, and then, we'd love to see them come back and coach at some point if they're, because we don't have enough female coaches still, even in our league, right? We're slowly trying to build it, but we never want to put them in there as coaches just because they're females. That's the wrong approach, right? But when they're in a position to give back and coach and they've developed, we want them there. Like, be part of it. That's part of giving back. Right? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, like the coach said just now, I'm here smiling because I used to tell my guys early, those guys, you might not be in a position to assist me, but when I get old and out of the scene, my children and grandchildren, the young lawyer doctor that you all might become, might say, oh, that's the old coach, that grandson. So you might be in a position to help them. But you might not help me.
Yeah.
But I would have done my time with them.
Yeah.
But they might come to assist.
Yeah.
But in terms of your career path,
Yeah.
the nice thing about it is that the dual experience and the coaching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you reach your studies and having difficulties and stuff,
Yeah.
you can bounce back on a situation with the coach in a difficult game setting.
Yeah.
That can assist you in terms of
Absolutely,
your
absolutely, yeah. Like even like a networking and type kind of a way, like you meet so many different people.
Right.
And yeah, it opens you up to a ton of opportunity. I mean, I think I'd love to come back and coach when I'm older.
Right.
Yeah, after
Yeah, me
uni,
too.
like that'd be so fun. Yeah,
So you see, you have some help there coming.
we'll be back.
That,
We'll be back.
that's all we
Coming
do,
back
right? I
in.
mean, they did the same thing with us when we were younger, right? Hoping that, we move along.
Yeah.
And now it's just our part of the it's a transition, right?
Right,
The
right,
next
right.
generation can take on,
Yeah.
and that's how life works, right?
Right, right.
And then they're gonna be better than we are.
Right.
And you want the next generation after that to be better than we are. It's just about providing, I'm not a parent, I don't have kids, but I would imagine that you wanna instill really good values in your
Right.
children and help them make good decisions, because you can't be there every day for
Correct,
them,
correct,
right?
correct, correct.
And these young ladies, they'll make their own decisions.
Right.
They'll make their own mistakes as they go along. And it's about learning through I always say it's better to learn through other people's mistakes, right?
Right,
And then develop and grow as a person, right?
Right, right.
Yeah.
In terms of drill, though, you guys have vision statement and mission statement?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple.
Right.
All Jewel is a platform that allows these young women to use the sport of basketball as their vehicle
Right.
to get a great education and a good start in life.
I like that.
That simple.
Right.
That's all we are. We're nothing else.
Right.
We're not looking for glory. We're not looking for accolades. We get them through these kids.
Right.
That's all we want. And it's rare, right? But I've been a servant my whole life. That's when I was working before I retired, I was a civil servant.
Right.
The people that we surround ourselves
You
with.
retire, you're a young man, or you retire yourself?
Well, I was a government worker. So don't hate me because I'm beautiful. I was really lucky to get a government job, right? So, and I tell kids all the time, get a government job if you can. But that's all we do, right? And it's about seeing these young ladies down in life and say, hey, Sarah, you're a neurosurgeon now. Amazing,
Right, right, right.
amazing, because
at
you
the same
fulfilled your
time,
dream.
She might be able to insist now to help bring the team to Antigua.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Being new, so she has a financial
Yeah,
capacity.
yeah. Well, funny thing, this year we have, so Jewel is just a high school league,
Right, right.
but we have 2 girls that came last year that are in university, playing university basketball, and they both said, can we go back?
Oh.
So they're coming back, and they have exams in 2 weeks, right?
That's right.
So their parents are kind of like, well, I'd rather, but I want them to enjoy the experience.
Right,
So they're both here as well, right?
Okay.
So, and that's what Sarah's talking about. Maybe next
Next
year
year
she'll
she come back.
as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in terms of parents, though, the pivotal role in this dual organization and the kids' development and stuff like that, the parents.
Yeah, I mean, the parents play an important role, right? I always say that, without these girls wanting to play basketball, the parents would be at home relaxing, not spending any money. We don't want them to do that. We want them to spend money, drive you everywhere. The parents play an important role. I think that when I was coaching, it just so happened that the parents weren't around as much because they had 2 and 3 jobs.
Right.
So I'd have to pick up my players. Now the parents are more involved, which is great.
Right.
And for the most part, the parents are really good. They have a really good understanding. They allow the coaches to do the things. There are some parents
Right.
that, and I'm sure you guys have them as well, that have higher expectations from everybody else. And we leave that up to the coaches to address and deal with. We'll get parents contacting us periodically about, maybe they're unhappy with the way the coach is playing their daughter. And as a league, we say, we don't select the coaches. What we really monitor is if it's something unethical, then it comes through the league and then we address it, right? But if it's a coaching thing, we always say, look, your daughter's a young lady who's gonna grow up to be a woman. She needs to stand up for herself and ask those questions. Coach, I'm not playing a whole lot. Has my role changed? What are you expecting from me?
Right.
I need to know what you want from me so I can contribute to the team. And it's like anything else. When you're communicating, if it's done properly and it's not confrontational, you'll get a lot further. Now, once the young lady asks those questions, if she doesn't feel she's getting the right answers, or maybe the coach said something that they were going to do and it's not happening, I always say the parents now needs to get involved. You're the parent, protect your child, right? But there has to be a process in place. Now, once you provide the answer, that person, it's their business to do what they want with the answer. Here's my response. If you like it or not, you need to deal with that. That's my response. All I hope for is that the kids and parents commit for the entire season. You've made a commitment for the season. If the coach wasn't the coach you thought they were going to be, or the team that you didn't fit in well with the team, then next year maybe look at another team, look at other options. But it's about fulfilling a commitment, right? We make thousands of decisions every day. right? Hopefully most are good. Some are not so good.
Right.
There are consequences, right?
Correct.
And now it's about living through those consequences. Like I said, we make mistakes,
Right.
we deal with them, you move on.
Right.
Because if you have kids, you're not always going to be there every day, and you hope that they stand up for themselves.
Correct.
Like, if you're being wrong, stand up for yourself, but do it the right way, right? That's all we hope.
And that's the key. That the right way is the key. And
Yeah.
also, you have to learn from these experiences too. It's a teachable moment.
It's mind-boggling how when I was coaching, I've dealt with so many special scenarios. When you run into one later, 10 or 15 years later, that's similar, you draw back on if that worked or not, right? And when I started coaching women from the men, the one thing I learned that was different, right? Because they say, are they better? Or, no, they're just different.
Right.
Communication. Because the girls really listen to what you're saying, into detail. Now, sometimes they could read into things too much, so you have to be pretty clear, or they can ask for clarification. But communication is the key, and communication is a problem all over the world, right?
True.
So in big business, it's a problem, right? But I think that if you communicate with your players, and there's an open line of communication between the coach and the players, and the parents as well, I think that you'll have a lot more success.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of you ladies, in terms of parental support and stuff like that, and maybe I can put you on the spot in terms of any conflict with the coaches and stuff. Any have experienced any challenges there in that area?
Not really. I don't think so. No, like I said, Chris and Jen are our coaches, and they're here. They're phenomenal coaches. They've been with us, at least with me, since the start of high school. And in terms of my parents, they're super supportive. Like our moms are driving us down every weekend, every 2 weekends or so.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of commitment on her part. So
Yeah.
super grateful to have that support system. Or we will carpool, or like make it work. But the parents are awesome, and it's obviously like a huge commitment on their part.
Yeah. And like even for me, I feel like I definitely realized that not every kid gets this opportunity because our parents are so supportive.
Right.
Like some people might not be able to be in Jewel or be in certain teams just because they don't have the parents who can support them in that sense.
Right.
So I'm just very grateful for my parents for that.
Let's see.
Like
There's
that.
something to take away from this,
Right.
because the question was if they get enough playing time.
Right.
But these girls get enough playing time, so the parents don't have any problem. They get enough playing time, so they'd have to approach the coach, why did that and they're playing enough?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But-
It's funny you say that, though. I will tell you this, in my experiences with parents, a lot of the parents who played at a high level or were professional athletes, like we have a parent with us this week who played professional football.
Okay.
And they have a good understanding of sports.
Yeah.
Right.
And they tend to be the quiet people
Yeah.
who do things the right way.
Right.
And I don't want to generalize, but there are some parents that maybe didn't play sports or didn't play at a high level, that it's harder for them emotionally, right?
Right.
My daughter's not playing well, or they're harder on their child because of that, or they're questioning the coach more. But again, it comes down to, look, take a step back, really think about that, and then have that discussion. Have that discussion with you don't want to, you got to keep in mind with girls in particular, and this has gone on for 25, 30 years, from the ages of 13, 14, and 15, girls are dropping out of sports.
Yeah.
So let's not continue to put more pressure on them, because that's the biggest factor, right? If somebody's on you every day, whether you're a coach or a parent, it could be detrimental. You're going to drive them away, right? Like Sophie was a gymnast, she got out of gymnastics, and she had a reason for getting out of gymnastics. And it wasn't pressure, it was just, it wasn't for me. But if a kid is quitting because I cannot deal with the pressure, it's like, what are we doing? This is the wrong example, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And that guy said professional football, Canadian football.
Yeah.
I had a cousin who played in the Canadian Football League too.
Yeah, who's your cousin?
His last name Arundel.
Okay. How long ago did he play?
Not many years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was telling something to you. The first time we came to Canada, I was living in the crossroad, Arundel and something. The street was named Arundel
Yeah.
and so on the name.
Oh.
So I said to myself, there's a street in Canada named Arundel after me.
Is that important?
That was in trouble between the Greek section.
Yeah.
I saw the crossroad, Arundel and something, and said, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you had some souvlaki in the Greek section.
I guess so.
Okay. Good.
But
Yeah.
every year you come down, what are some of your takeaways when you come down to Antigua?
So I've always been somebody that information is important, right? Because when I work for the government, I'm dealing with residents. You really have to have information to back up your decisions, right? So I track as much as I can. Like even in Jewel, we constantly, like we always say, we're not always going to get it right, but we're going to try to learn through our mistakes, right? And that's where you learn the most, is through your mistakes.
Correct.
So, we always take notes and track what went well, what didn't go well, what can we improve on, that kind of stuff, right? So we're always trying to learn. But it's about, we have more notes this year. We want to make it better next year. And I'll ask the people that were really the ones doing the work behind the scenes. Like, the sandwiches are an easy one for us. And we learned that last year, where one day we did sandwiches and it was a huge hit. So now we're like, okay, let's have sandwiches as a backup for dinner. Because when we come back from the games, like think about this, we're eating lunch at 1 o'clock. We're leaving at 5 for our games. You're really not eating dinner. These girls are hungry at the end of the night. So the easy thing, and we're gonna have a big pizza party tomorrow night. One of the parents is flipping the bill again. Like these people, and they're hitting me up with this stuff, right? Hey, by the way, we're gonna get pizza and I'm getting it. Okay, like super, right? These are the kind of people that we don't bring them along because of that. It's just the way it works out. So pizza's easy to do. We want to have fun. The games are starting earlier tomorrow because we want our kids back. It's our last night. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the sunset yet. I don't know if anybody's caught the sunset yet. The schedule hasn't allowed it, but they've seen the sunrise, I think, at one point. So that's stuff, memories that you take back, right? So they'll say to us, hey, this worked well, or this didn't work well. Let's tweak this and tweak that. And that's what I'll take to the next group. I put together a document for the trip. And every year it grows, and we send this out to the new parents this year periodically as we do updates. And some of the moms are like, I've never seen anything like this organized, right? And yet, even though you have this long document that's 20 pages, we're still missing some things that we learned this year. So now we're gonna say, hey, we need to do this, and this next year, so everybody's better prepared, right?
Coach, I want to find out something, Coach.
I like that.
Coach, I want to find out something. Is not tonight the last night y'all playing?
Tonight's the championship game. Tonight's the big day.
No more games tomorrow?
No, tomorrow we fly out in the afternoon. So the girls and parents will probably want to get some sun in the morning, last sun.
Get the beach.
What time the game starts today?
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
And then the tech guys, we got out there by 3:30.
Yeah. But I will tell you, one of my favorite parts of the whole trip is when we make trip T-shirts every year with all the kids' names on them. And we tell them to wear the T-shirts. So when we come through the airport, they fast track us through immigration. We send our names and dates of birth. It's the best feeling in the world when there's 3 planes that came in at the same time. There's thousands of people, and a bunch of Canadians are walking by waving. I don't know if people like us so much at that point, but it's kind of a cool kind of. And again, it's being in a small island, small community, and we're treated like rock stars. Apparently, I was told I can't use that, but. You're treated like royalty, right? It's a nice feeling.
That's important.
Hey, Coach, I was just up here getting rudely. Guys, what you said a while ago is so important. When all my teams are traveling, all of the guys, we are having our blazers. So in America, the immigration kind of tough. So they go into it's so well attired, they fast track you. The whole about you. You get it quickly.
They're not profiling, but they'll fast track you.
Well, I like your stuff in terms of the 20-page document. Organized, well documented, and that says a lot. So any parent look at it and say, "This is organized group." I want to be part of it.
And it's so big, and that's the other thing. So Jewel is similar. Like we always say in Jewel, your games start on time, right? There's not. I've taken my teams to U.S. tournaments, and you're supposed to play at 9 o'clock. Your game doesn't start until 11:30 because they're behind schedule. Now you got kids going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's not just American tournaments. I mean, some leagues, or even in Canada, the games don't start on time. So we start on time. We do things a certain way. The score sheets are completed for the coaches, so they don't have to deal with that. We see Jewel as a family, right? And the reason we have successes too is that the coaches and parents all know our rules, right? And we want the parents to cheer and be loud, but if the parent is unhappy with the referee, and the referee says that parent needs to leave the gym, we go to the coach, and the coach goes over to parent. And we have very few incidents. We have very few discipline incidents every year. We record all of our games. So, you know, everything's on tape, right? So if somebody says, hey, we think this foul was excessive or was personal, we have the luxury of reviewing. And it's about holding the kids accountable, because, you know, it's not about going after them or punishing them. Is that if a kid gets away with something today, they're going to try to push the envelope tomorrow. And then eventually in 3 or 4 years, it's going to be a really bad incident that could have been resolved back here. Go back to the root cause, right? It's about, okay, you made a mistake, here's your punishment. Once it's done, it's done. That's the thing I tell people. Once you've had your punishment, it's done. We don't hold it against you. You made a mistake. You're a kid, right? So, but I think it's important to document stuff as you go along.
Very true. Very true.
My coach must get back to you again, not you so much.
Yeah.
Because last year we did 2 or 3 games last year.
Yeah.
And I had a problem with Lukey. So the game started too late. You can't have a 5 o'clock and the game starts 6:30.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
And this year they improved.
Yeah.
The game may start maybe 5-10 minutes late.
Yeah.
But it's much better than half an hour late.
Yeah. Yeah.
I deal with time.
Yeah.
If I come in for time, I want to be in time.
Yeah.
So that's what I said to the guy just now. Game starts 5, we have to do it by 3:30. So by 4:30, 4:45, we're ready to stream.
Yeah.
Everything ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't want this whole up.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind too, like after last year, the good thing is that we met with Wings after the fact and said, okay, you know, let's sort of debrief this, right?
Nice.
And, you know, everybody uses island time as the excuse. And I'm like, listen, for me, if I'm telling my people it's going to be here at this time, like we like it to be as close as possible. And we know there's challenges, right? Like even with the buses, you know, they're doing other stuff too. So we understand that part of it. But as long as it's close, because you don't want the kids out in the hot sun waiting too long, or the kids are now scrambling because the bus came too early. Nobody's doing it on purpose, right? We're all trying to sort of row in the same direction. But time is a big, so my wife does this to me all the time. Whenever we're going somewhere, she makes me wait a half hour, right? And I'm in the car stewing, right? So I thought I'd be trained by now, but when it comes to, you know, Jewel or something I do, it's very personal for me. Like because, you know, we're providing stuff for these kids, right? So
Can I ask you something, Coach?
Yeah.
I was getting up when he said something he said just now.
Yeah.
See, if the wife is early, you're late. What she says?
My wife's early. My wife's never early. I can't even answer that question. My wife's never
That
early.
happens to be, you know.
She's probably not. I hope she's not watching right now. Yeah, she'll remind me if I get home. If I get home and she picks me up at the airport late, that'll be the reason.
But in terms of you ladies, what's your takeaway from this trip? What would be your takeaway from this trip?
Takeaways from this trip?
Yeah.
Like so many, honestly.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, let me think about it for a second. I don't know, it's just been a crazy experience.
Right.
Yeah, pretty humbling. Like I love seeing the island, and like just the culture here is super different compared to Canada's.
Yeah, I feel like also just we like being a part of something and being part of like we said, like maybe making a change for the better for women's basketball in other countries.
Like seeing the game grow.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of giving back to the island, like coming and doing these today. Or the clinic today is always super fun. Yeah, and seeing the community on the island as well. But
How many girls at the clinic today? How many local girls were at the clinic today?
There were like 20 kids. I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah, 20 kids.
What age group?
A few that we played against, so like teenagers. A few little kids. Yeah, and just kind of like teaching the dynamics, the fundamentals. But they're like, even the girls we play against are super passionate about it. Yeah. And super into the game.
In terms of you played last year, you played this year. When you compare last year to this year in terms of your game, what you say? How you
My
rate yourself?
personal game?
What you rate yourself?
I mean, I think of just like little improvements over the year. I think everyone can say that though. And pretty competitive. I'm a senior now, so taking maybe a little bit more leadership on the team. Yeah, but I didn't know a ton of the girls that I'm playing with right now, but that's kind of like the fun of it, you know? You get to make immediately like 12 new best friends or 11 new best friends when we get put on the team. So divide them up, meet some new players, play against some new players.
Coach, the college basketball, girls college basketball in Canada.
Yeah.
Is it shown live on TV and all that.
Oh yeah.
I think they said there was a 53% increase in viewership of like girls playing in University of Canada this year.
And Sophie.
Yeah.
Tune you might see them.
Yeah, well, yeah, you might. You have to look it up, but yeah, we're hoping. I mean, even everybody's talking about the NCAA and the numbers of fans that are watching now. It's huge, right? So it's fantastic.
Right.
Like we're not where we need to be yet, but let's not drop back. Let's continue to build. And Canada is also following in that route, right? So the good thing about Sarah as well is she's going to one of the top programs in the country. So she's going to get really good competition. A lot of opportunities to be on TV as well. They have their own TV as well. OUA has their own TV. They cover their own games. So it's there.
Right.
We just need to do more. Let's keep working on it, right?
Yeah.
But if the comparison, the NCAA took to us, you born Canada, what the comparison like? How you rate it?
Yeah, in America, everything's on steroids. Like it's magnified. Like everything is magnified, right?
You're quite right, Coach.
I mean,
You're quite right.
you talked about the CFL, and I do work for the Toronto Argonauts, which is the team in Toronto.
Right.
We work on their uniforms. So I go to every Grey Cup every year. That's the championship in Canada, right? The Toronto Argonauts are the oldest football club in the world, right? And in the 70s, players who played in the CFL and the Canadian Football League were making more money than the players in the NFL. But now the NFL is a money-making machine, right? I mean, their commissioner makes $50 million a year, right? And you watch NFL. So Canada, again, like we're, 10% of their population, right? But a lot of our teams can compete with the American teams. We're right there with them, right?
Okay.
Right there with them, right? So, like why would you go to a small school in the middle of Iowa, Division III, to play basketball and maybe get a good education, where you can go to Carleton, play high-level basketball, and get a great education, right? But a lot of our kids want to go south, right? And that's good too. Like, if you belong there and you can play at that level, like I mentioned, we've had several players come through our league that played in the NCAA. But it's not for everybody. It's a different world, right? So I think that they're just different. Canadians are a little bit more humble. We apologize for, sorry we were on time. So we were not as sort of, big. The American model is just a big model. It's just the American way, right?
Okay.
And we love it too, right? It's a different model, right?
Yeah.
When I used to follow basketball, I don't follow now.
Yeah.
Seems to see that America is the but as Canada now is the standard is coming up.
Yeah, I mean now they're talking about Canada has the most non-Americans in the NBA. Right. Our women's team and our men's team have qualified for the Olympics.
Right.
So we're hoping that they do well. In fact, a couple weeks ago at a Jewel Weekend, I met the women's national team coach. His daughter plays for one of our franchises. So he's from Spain, and I got to talking to him about former Jewel players.
Right.
But we again, it's about getting these kids, there, like getting them to that level, and then playing at that level, right? But in my opinion, I don't watch the NBA anymore. I think it's terrible.
Right.
You guys heard of this guy named Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I watched him play, and I watched him play live. And there's nobody close to Michael Jordan. The game, like LeBron's good, Kobe was good, but Michael Jordan by far was the best player ever, right? And the game is very different now than it was. Now they're so athletic, right? We also do work for Raptors 905. They're in the G League. All these guys are 6'9", 6'10", 6'11". They all weigh about 100 pounds. They're just so athletic, right? And they just get away with so much. And I think that they don't work at the game as much. There's a lot of one-on-one. The team game isn't there like it was back in the 80s and 90s. But maybe I'm getting old, right? Maybe I'm getting old and I'm set in my ways, right? That might be it. But it's a different game today, right?
I want to point out something to you. Maybe you might be aware to you, maybe you know.
Yeah.
Michael Judd.
Yeah.
There's a Canadian center who played the same team with
Bill Wennington.
He went to the same university with my wife.
Oh, where did Bill Wennington go
St.
to?
John's University.
Oh, is that where he went? Yeah, I got a really cool story for you. There's a guy in Canada who's in Niagara Falls. His name is Mike Schmreck.
Okay.
So he was a center in the NBA for the Lakers.
Yeah.
He's got 3 championship rings.
Wow.
Nobody's ever heard of this guy.
Right.
Guys like Charles Barkley have no rings. You know what he was? He was the backup center to Kareem.
Okay.
And so he got all his rings, and he'd play a few minutes here and there. So there's all these types of stories, right? There's superstars that get no rings their whole career, and then there's other guys, right place, right time.
The same guy Barrett.
Yeah.
His father played at St. John's University.
Yeah. Well, so at St. John's as well, R.J. Barrett's dad, Rowan Barrett, played at St. John's too. It's a small world, right? Yeah, small
As a
world.
matter of fact, I used to go there and watch them guys train in the summer.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
St. John University. He's going to watch them.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Oh, I was there. I remember that.
Good stuff. Well, I was looking to wrap up. Your closing remarks. We look to wrap up. I'll show you all the board and tired.
Oh, us? It's been super fun.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks so much for having us. We're excited for our last game. Come watch tonight, our finals. Hopefully we win.
Based on what I'm hearing, we're going to see them next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might see us next year. We might be back. We might be back.
So what can we expect from you two tonight in the game tonight? What can we expect?
I hope it's a good game. I think it's going to be really competitive. We've
Right.
actually already played them, I think. We lost by a few points. So
Right.
the sister rivalries are going to be coming out. I know both the coaches are pretty competitive. So
Right.
I hope we win.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think we got it in the bag.
All right,
We'll be
sounds
good.
And coach,
You know, for us, we're thankful for the opportunity, really, and to have these girls. You know, I thought we were going to come here for a 10-minute interview. This has been. I mean, I did most.
sorry,
of,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I did because of me. I did too much talking.
we're
but-
trying to keep you out so long.
yeah. You can cut it down a little bit.
Had we known, with us zoom in your wife so she can hear you.
Yeah, she can hear me.
See,
Yeah,
you know, zoom
yeah.
in so she
Yeah.
can watch you and talk to you.
Yeah. But you know, our kids like doing this stuff, like doing Good Morning Antigua. They're asking us, "Can I go? Can I go?" Things like this. And you guys see when you're doing the live stream, we have our girls doing some play-by-play, and we're hearing good things about the play-by-play.
Yeah.
So we may have some future play-by-play people, color
yeah,
commentators,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're part of the process. They're cheering on their friends, right? They're on the microphone. This is all the cool things that you don't really expect. That naturally evolve while you're here.
Right.
So, you know, we're having a great time. We just love the fact that you guys are giving women's sports, women's basketball time, right? And we're appreciative of that, right? Because not everybody does that. So thank you very much for allowing us to come to you today.
See what happens, this network was set up for development of sports in Antigua.
Yeah,
More young people. Every sport, we stream all the sports.
yeah,
Even jog racing, horse racing, everything.
yeah,
Because we want to highlight young people and
yeah,
development side of things. So when you're young, like Sarah, and you come from Antigua, nobody hears about you, they don't see you.
yeah,
But if they can see you now, 'cause like you said, as soon as you come out of the studio, you can start to watch it again on YouTube or Facebook.
yeah,
You can say, watch over the show.
yeah,
Because you can see it again.
Yeah.
And you might see this for another 5 years.
yeah.
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 So you have access to it. So
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yeah.
Very
Good.
cool.
Love
But
it. Yeah.
as a matter of fact, Wednesday night was our first time we streamed 2 sports at the same time. We had a studio show and the
Wow.
basketball going on at the same time. That's what the guy came there to fix for me, because I want to get it live on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously.
Yeah.
So we want to stream 4 sports one time
Yeah,
at the same
Wow,
time. That's
wow.
what we want to do. That's what I'm working on.
yeah,
Cool.
good,
Love
good,
it. Yeah.
good.
your closing remarks as we
You know,
know.
like, good to have our friends here from Canada. They keep coming every year. Make it
Yeah.
better, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not coming back. They love the beaches
Yeah.
and they love the sunshine.
We love it.
And they're making great friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, I just want to say on behalf of the network, it was a pleasure having you
Yeah.
guys here.
Thank
you so
Had
much for
fun
the
this morning.
opportunity.
We learned a
Yeah.
lot about jewels and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And also the connected with Antigua and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also what I love about what jumped out at me most in this interview is the top team in Canada who want to come back here and start off-season training.
Don't tell Sarah; she
Yes.
might get
I'm
excited.
gonna make that
That speaks-
happen.
That speaks volumes of
Right.
our the friendship.
Yeah,
Also how the host,
Yeah.
we have been a good host for you guys and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
hopefully we'll make it
Hopefully
happen.
We have you guys back in the studio sometime in the near future.
Not back in
Yeah.
the studio alone. See, now that Sarah's going to college,
Uh-huh.
maybe first semester, we zoom in and find out how things going.
That's the way that's what
Yeah,
we're
I
talking
know.
about.
Yeah.
Back in Canada and
Put in-
stuff. If
yeah.
you want,
Put
we
in
can Zoom
Zoom
you guys
and hear how
and
things
talk to
going.
you guys.
All right,
And
cool.
find how things going.
Let-
Even
let-
Zoom
let-
on your practice session too.
Let us know.
And so it's, and how
Yeah.
it's going.
Let us know.
We can always do that. We can zoom in, watch how
Yeah.
things going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the
For sure.
world.
Yeah.
That's how we operate.
Yeah,
So
Alright.
even Sarah and Sophie, we know what Sophie doing too.
yeah.
We want to hear about them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely,
coach,
absolutely.
if ever you have the opportunity to want to come on the stream, zoom in, just call Luke or call us. We give you a number, we sort you out.
Let us know.
Sounds
We'll make
good.
ourselves available.
Sounds
You
good.
probably don't want me because I have a good face for radio. That's what they tell me.
Well, it was fun having you guys this morning, man. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. And
Thank
hope
you so
our
much.
listeners get it tonight.
Thank you.
Good.
Guys, have a good weekend.
Jingle your keys and get in gear with a car loan from ACB. Drive away with a loan that fits you. Get up to 100% financing and 10 years to repay on a new or used car. Plus, get a pre-approved credit card. So rev up and get in gear with a Simply Smarter car loan. Call or visit us or go to acbonline.com for more.
ACB Caribbean. Simply smarter banking.